Health insurance stocks are the focus of the morning trade. Joining us now for a closer look at that is Schwab Network's host, Marley Kayden. What exactly, Marley, did the president say on Truth Social, and what do you make of the move in these stocks going lower today as a result of that? What does it tell you?
Yes, Sam, as you mentioned, the sticking point on this government shutdown and passing some funding to end the impasse is these subsidies. So let's walk through sort of what some of the issues are, what Trump said, and also what these subsidies are, because I think we're not discussing that as much as we should be, too. So you said shares of the health insurers with plans under the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, are falling today, some of which very significantly after President Trump said federal funds subsidizing those plans must be directed back to Americans who are actually buying the coverage. So those subsidies at the heart of this federal shutdown, they're due to expire at the end of the year. They were introduced during the pandemic to help lower income Americans pay for private health insurance. So these plans, Obamacare plans, are subsidized by the government based on income. They also include a risk adjustment pool that reimburses insurers covering a disproportionate share of sicker members who are using these subsidies. So the insurance companies are getting paid back because of these subsidies. These subsidies have enabled enrollment to double to 24 million people since they were put in place back in 2021. But President Trump came out on Truth Social and said, quote, "The money must now go directly to the people, taking the fat cat insurance companies out of the corrupt system of healthcare. The people can buy their own much better policy for much less money, saving for themselves an absolute fortune." Then he added, "Pay the people, not the insurance company." He had a separate quote saying that the proposed hundreds of billions of dollars that are being subsidized would be directed towards people and not towards the big bad insurance companies, as he said. And these allocated funds, as Trump is saying on Truth Social, would enable these individuals to then buy their own superior health care services, in his opinion, and retain those additional savings. Now, because of the potential of these subsidies ending, the potential to be giving that money directly to people to spend as they please, intended to be for this insurance coverage, but no guarantee that's what it goes to, we are seeing some big moves. The biggest moves we're seeing, Oscar Health, one of the biggest insurers under the ACA marketplace business, they're down more than 15%. Centene down almost 8%. Elevance Health down 3%. Molina Healthcare down 5%. So a big potential hit to the bottom line for these companies, Sam.
Yeah, it doesn't look like many are immune to what we're seeing as far as these headlines are concerned. Thanks so much for getting us across the details of those developments, Marley Kayden. Let's trade it now. UnitedHealth in particular with Charles Moon, stock strategist, Prosper Trading Academy. How are you approaching your example trade for UNH, Charles?
Yeah, this is one obviously that's attributed or tied a lot to this government shutdown, with the ACA being kind of the sticking point as far as the Democrats wanting this in terms of inclusion on the deal. From a technical standpoint, UNH has actually held up relatively well versus their peers. They hit a technical support level, which was a pretty nice little gap fill, but that's the question. If we get underneath that price, which is 314, I could see UNH really racing down to 300 to 290 as well. If it could break above 325, I think the breakout could lead it to as high as 345. So I think this move is going to take place pretty soon, especially with the government shutdown deal supposedly going to take place by midweek or the end of this week. So I'm looking at the November 21st strangle trade on this one. I want to be long the 340 strike calls and long the 290 puts. I think you can get this at around 375. It's probably trading a little bit lower. I'd only give this around 7 days time because we don't want to get, nicked up by theta. So, ultimately, I expect this move to take place relatively soon. And I think that this could reach to a fairly easy 50% gains once the stock breaks out into a direction. So above 325 or below 314, I feel those are the tipping points for this stock in the near term.
Okay, and UNH not suffering as deep losses, suffice to say, as some of the other names in trade today, just down around 0.5% at 322 and change. But it is still under pressure as we have seen these developments from Trump. Thank you so much, Charles Moon. We have to leave it there. Stock strategist, Prosper Trading Academy.